Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video, and I've kind of just been sitting here waiting for things to happen in regards to teasing the season, but I think we've seen all we're going to see for the time being here, and there is at least some stuff to talk about now that Bungie has revealed Season of the Lost, which stars Mara Sov. She's returning, and we've gotten a few other clues about what's happening here. So this all leaked, well, way back with the Paceman stuff. The Paceman stuff has been pretty much confirmed at this point, so if you really don't want to know like future story spoilers and other bad things you don't want to know about, avoid that, because I don't know who did it, but it is very accurate, because this is another thing that was on there. It leaked again last night. Razer was like airing ads for Season of the Lost with Mara on it right at midnight, when those were supposed to go live till later today. This is not a response to the leak. Bungie was always going to tease it today, I know that. And then what we got was a first screenshot of Mara Sov with not Uldren, Osiris, who we have not seen since he ran away from the battle in the Batsa district and helped let the Vex in. Not great. And that's kind of all we really have to go on, but this kind of confirms a lot of the theories that I had about Season 15. I'm not the only one, obviously, but this seemed like a logical point to go from here, because we just had this big showdown with Korea, and Korea was responsible for kind of the time loop aspect of the Dreaming City curse, but to fully lift the curse, we have to do like some other stuff, and then ultimately the curse is Savathun's doing, and it would make sense to kind of solve that before we head into the Witch Queen. I didn't think that would be the actual plot of the Witch Queen, so my guess is that the plot will be to break the curse of the Dreaming City this season, or just something related to the curse. This is the first time we've seen anything in regard to this season. Like, we've seen a lot of like sandbox changes and whatever coming, and like the new ritual weapon and stuff, but we have seen pretty much nothing from the season itself. The actual season reveal will be on August 24th, and that will be like literally, minutes before it airs, or an hour before. I don't know how long the show's going to be, but it's going to be right before it, so we're going to know pretty much nothing going in. We know that there is a new seasonal event, and now that we know that it's in the Dreaming City, presumably this event will be it's like some sort of either a Dreaming City landscape if it's a new area, or take place within existing Dreaming City zones. I guess it could be the Tangled Shore, but this seems like a very Dreaming City heavy focused season. We know Mara Sov is back. I mean, she literally told us she was coming back in Season of the Chosen when there was a voice message from her saying, "I'm coming back." So she's here to deal with Savathun, who she has, a long history with. And then we just got a new teaser from one of the writers of Bungie. Let me look it up. So Julian Arden says, "Some say twins share a strange and inexplicable bond, but does it survive death?" This is obviously referring to Uldren Sov, who is now our good friend Crow. He died as Uldren because he went crazy trying to bring his sister back when he was corrupted by a taken Riven. And but when you're brought back to life as a Guardian, you're supposed to lose your memories. However, Uldren has been kind of getting flashes of things, like both kind of flashes of his old personality and flashes of, I think, kind of just brief visions of his former life to a certain extent. I don't remember where in the lore all of these are, but it's happened a couple times now. So the question is what happens when Mara and Uldren reunite? I did not know they were twins. I just thought they were brother and sister. So that's a lore fail on my part. But so I don't know. Maybe that's some sort of extra strong bond that helps them break through. And I don't know. Mara has like mystical powers, and Crow's a guardian now, and who knows what that will entail. I do hope this is kind of like the big culmination of the Crow's growth in his storyline from the past few seasons here. He was mostly gone this season, but it will be good to see him back, and I imagine he'll have a big role in the season. Osiris, I get to do Osiris Watch here before the season even starts. He's creeping on Mara. The running theory, of course, is still that Osiris is Savathun in disguise. I can't tell, like, if Bungie is still trying to keep this a secret, or like if we're supposed to figure it out by now, because like they've really spelled it out in the lore at this point. Like it's hard for me to just imagine that isn't true, and yet the Vanguard is still acting like he literally like betrayed the last city and ran away, and they're all like, he's fine. He's a good dude. Like, just bring him back. We'll clear his name. We'll get all this sorted. Will Mara behave any differently towards Osiris? Will she see through his disguise? My guess is that they're going to try and keep the Savathun Osiris ruse up for a while, and then maybe there will be a reveal before the Witch Queen or during the Witch Queen or something where she sheds her Osiris skin and reveals herself. I mean, in the lore, Savathun's talking about how like the human body she's wearing is like falling apart. She's having trouble like keeping it together. So it doesn't seem like she has a lot of time to do this, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited to do Dreaming City stuff because you know what this means. Dreaming City themed armor and weapons. We have not seen any of those, obviously. I haven't even seen those in a leak or anything, but it stands to reason that we will get kind of Dreaming City influenced gear this season as the seasonal content. That will likely include like the activity armor, and then sometimes the season pass, battle pass armor is the same theme, sometimes a little different. So lately it's kind of just been like a modified version of the first armor. Splicer, they were a little more different, but they were both Fallen related. My guess is they'll both be Dreaming City related, and then we'll get our usual slate of, I don't know, let's say 6 Dreaming City weapons filling various slots. I expect some of them, if not many of them, will be stasis weapons, because we got to introduce stasis weapons somewhere, and we're not, as far as we know, there's not like a raid or something coming. There could be a dungeon. We don't know whether that could be happening or not. It seems like it might be about time for a dungeon, and I would love another Dreaming City dungeon or something related to that, as obviously the one we have there now is very good. In terms of like where this is leading, one of my really old theories was like, okay, if we're going to break the Dreaming City curse, is that going to be an excuse to sunset the Dreaming City and by proxy Forsaken content like Last Wish and all the story missions and stuff like that? Well, that really works from a story perspective, and yet I am less sure about how that would work from a practical standpoint, because it would make a lot more sense to sunset the EDZ, I think. The EDZ, there's barely anything left in there now that they took the Red War campaign out. We are getting another lush forest area that kind of overlaps with EDZ. If it's Old Chicago, that's another Earth zone. Whereas the Dreaming City is very unique and has a lot of kind of really high quality content attached to it, probably more so than the EDZ. Also, if you delete Forsaken, which is the EDZ and Tangled Shore, you delete an entire enemy race from the game, the Scorn, which this is a game that needs more enemies, not less enemies, so that would be bad. And speaking of the Scorn, if you logged in at Reset today, you will see that the Hallowed Lair is the Nightfall for next week at Reset. So, Hallowed Lair has not been the Nightfall since before the Nightfall ordeal with champions has been a thing, because Hallowed Lair is entirely filled with Scorn. 100%. And there are no Scorn champions, so you can't really do an ordeal if there are no Scorn champions. So the theory is we are getting Scorn champions. The most common thought is going to be probably, I would say, either Overload or Anti-Barrier Chieftains, because those I think are loosely based on the Captain model. I don't know if they'll teleport, but Overload would make sense for them because that would make them spam their abilities, and their abilities are turrets, so they'd be spamming a bunch of turrets down, which would be very annoying, but a new kind of challenge. And then Unstoppable Abominations. Abominations are built on the Ogre frame already, so there's obviously some overlap there. There's also, I think, only one other enemy race with both Overload and Unstoppable, and no race, I don't think, has all three, unless I'm missing something. I might be forgetting something, but you usually only have 2 types per thing, unless some GMs have all of them. But so that's a prediction there, that we are going to get Scorn champions at last. Every other race has them, and if they're going to make Scorn champions, I would not think they're going to do that just for a season and then take them out by sunsetting the Dreaming City and Forsaken. In addition to that, Kuja had a theory that these will be the first enemies that have stasis shields, which could be true. That would be an interesting modifier for GMs. In Nightfall modifiers, you usually give additional shields to some type of enemy. I forget if they already had additional shields on some Scorn in old Nightfalls. I don't remember if they were doing it back then, but this would obviously be a good place to introduce stasis shields, and yet I think you're going to have to probably introduce more stasis shields on more than just one out of like 6 races, so maybe more. And then Gucci had some crazy theory about how there's going to be a dungeon where Aramis unfreezes and is king of all the, or queen of all the stasis Scorn, which, okay, that's going a little far for me, but so yeah, so that's kind of what we got today. I don't think there was going to be anything else major, maybe some minor teases, like they just had some like little motion video of the Witch Queen logo today. Maybe there's a clue hidden in there, I haven't found it yet. And then everything else will be on Tuesday. Bungie is keeping everything very close to their chests for Tuesday, which will be Season 15 reveal. We already know, I assume we'll get a full trailer for the season, a bigger explanation of what's coming. They said already they're going to talk about stuff like trials, changes, and things like that. Obviously, Witch Queen stuff. Again, my sources indicate there's not going to be any announcements of like some sort of Halo crossover that day, even though there was a Microsoft show 2 hours later. That does not rule it out ever happening. Just, I definitely don't think we're going to see that. So then there could also be talk about future expansions, maybe more Lightfall, maybe more naming the expansion past Lightfall. Maybe talk about Destiny as a multimedia franchise as it expands past gaming, and then maybe stuff about Bungie expanding in general. I don't know how many of these topics are going to cover at once or how long this show is. It might only just be Season 15 and Witch Queen, but I have my doubts. I think there will probably be more to it than that. I guess we'll see. So, big day, big 24 hours here. I'm kind of exhausted from keeping up with all of it, but it's a lot of fun. So, we'll see what we talk about. I was going to do like a top 5 buffs or something from the Giant TWAB yesterday, which I only did 3 hours of analysis between a video and a podcast and an article I drafted. It got replaced by the season reveal, so here we are. But exciting stuff. It's going to be a big fall / winter / however long the season is, and it'll be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Evie, you sleeping? You're not even moving. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Take care.